So this is one of the practical sessions which started about a month ago. And in the practical sessions, it's a little bit more relaxed. And what we do is discuss one practical issue. So every month, I share one thing that is more practically related from my life and just break down very practical tips that might be helpful for my audience and those watching the videos. So for today, I'm going to be talking about how I lost 20 pounds in less than 20 weeks and kept it off. This happened about a year ago. And spoiler alert, this might be a potential book in the future for me to write. But we'll see. So I'm going to share this. I've got a lot of questions from people on how I was able to lose the weight. And it's been about a year now, so I've kept it off. So I decided I wouldn't be talking about it until at least about 1 year-ish, so that at least I'm sure what I lost can be kept for a long time. So that's what we'll be doing today. So it's not extremely organized. I just picked the paper I used to decide on what I wanted to do at that time. And I'll just be going through some of the things I did. If anyone resonates with you, or you're struggling with weight, or you're thinking of what else can I do to help with my weight loss, you could just do any of them. Again, as I always say in all my videos, I'm not acting in the capacity of a physician in all of these videos. They're just talks. If you want to do anything, always check with your doctor, your PCP. I'm not a PCP, and even if I am one, I can't talk about it there. I'm a psychiatrist, but I don't give psych recommendations to patients on videos. So whatever I say here, run it by your physician if you think any of those things might be useful for you. So I'm not giving medical advice here. That's the point I'm making. Thank you. So number one thing I did was switch my milk use to soya milk from use of tin milks, which was, much more condensed and had a lot of calories. I gained the weight because I was just stressed with work, and I stress eat a lot when I'm stressed. So that's one of my ways of managing stress. So in the process, I was using a lot of a type of milk that was very rich and dense in calories. So I decided to stop it completely at that point and switch over to soya milk only at that time. And it was very helpful. I think this was one of the biggest changes personally that I had to make that worked for me. And as soon as I did that, my weight started tumbling down. I think I lost 7 pounds within the first 1 to 2 weeks just by stopping that, of course, in the company of other things. So most of it revolves around diet and exercise. So I'll be alternating diet with exercise. So the other thing I did was, although I've always done 10,000 steps ish before then, but I made it a policy. There was a pre-March, April 2024. I made it a policy that I must get 10,000 steps every day at that point. That was when it became a law for me. And I got extremely committed to it. And currently, my target goals for steps every day is average of 12,000 steps, a minimum of 10,000 steps. So it became a law at this time. So anytime I go moving. Break time, I go walking around. To study or listening to questions, I move around, I walk around. So I'll encourage you to do that too. So number 3, back to diet. So now I cut down on high calorie foods. So before this time, I was taking a lot of, for example, apples. Although it's fruit and it's supposed to be healthy, but I think the quantity I was consuming was just too much. I was taking like 5 apples a day-ish or 6. Before, when the weight was going up. So what I did was I changed my approach to maximum of one daily, and I've been able to stick to it. Then I increased my cucumbers. Cucumbers has less apples. I looked it up. I realized an average apple has about 100 calories, and an average cucumber has about 50 or 40 calories. So, which is usually 2 or 3, maybe twice the size of an apple. So I felt the quantity of one cucumber would be like 2 apples. 2 apples would be 200 calories. One cucumber is 50 calories. So I figured out I need to cut down calories by focusing more on fruits that are less in calories. And that was also very, very helpful. So I switched from like 5, 6 apples to one, and from maybe half or one cucumber to like at least 2, 3 cucumbers every day. So back to exercise. I started one new resistance exercise, which was maximum deadlifts at that time. So I slowly increased it and did it initially every day, but later I reduced it to like twice a week ish now. So if you could do some maximum deadlift, that would be great. But if you can't do that, there are other forms of resistance exercises that you can also do. So also at the beginning of this weight loss journey, I also reduced or stopped completely the use of sugar sweetened beverages. I have a particular one I loved a lot. I was taking a lot at that time. Prior, I stopped it, and I also stopped the use of honey. Honey was supposed to be a healthier form of sugar, sweet or sugar or whatever. Typically, I normally don't use sugar, but I use except occasionally, maybe when I go for conferences or stuff. But typically, I don't. But I was using a lot of honey. So at that time, I felt okay. Figured honey was good, but it's also dense in calories. So I figured we are just needed to stop it completely. So at the point when I was starting the weight loss journey, I stopped honey. I stopped sugar sweetened beverages too. Completely. Like I said, a lot of these things I did that made me lose 20 pounds within less than 20 weeks was diet and exercise. Sleep too. So another decision I took was to take more of fish and less of other forms of meats. Generally, it wasn't like I was someone who eats a lot of meat generally, but I tried, even before then, I was trying to live healthy. But again, at times, some of the things we think are healthy might also not be helpful. So I think that's the greatest lesson I learned during that season of my life. So I decided to focus more on fish meals and take less of the other meats. I take a little bit of everything whenever I need to, but the bulk of my protein provision comes mainly from the use of fish, which is generally relatively more healthy compared to the other forms of meats. In order of importance, after fish, I go to chicken. Then red meats, I reduce as much as I can. Okay. So another fruit that I was taking a lot of prior to this, my weight loss journey, was bananas, which was also very dense in calories. So I stopped it completely too at this point when I started the weight loss journey. And even till now, except very occasionally, I stayed away from bananas. Again, fruits are generally encouraged, but they are fruits and they are fruits. So I stayed away completely from bananas. I reduced apple, like I mentioned earlier, to one. Rather, I increased cucumbers to like 3 to 4 because it has very low calories in it. So to supplement my protein, in addition to fish main diets, I continued to use almond nuts and craisins. There are multiple other nuts you can try, but overall those ones are healthy. But I made sure the quantity was not too much to the point of giving me excessive calories. So I had to find a way to measure how much of almond nuts and craisins I eat every day, which I do on a regular basis. Though I was doing that before then, but I think I was using a lot of, the quantity was just too much. So I reduced it to a quantity like a handful of almond nuts twice a day and a handful of pistachios twice a day. One fruit I was taking a lot of that I had to like reduce drastically to like 1 spoon of it was craisins, dried craisins. It's like dried, but it's extremely dense in terms of calories too. So I was using a lot of it prior. I decided to like, instead of stopping it 100%, I decided to like just take a spoon of it and sprinkle it on my almond nuts when I eat it. So that was one thing that helped. Actually, a good number of the things I did to reduce the weight was just making sure that the quantity of what I was taking was moderate, even of the healthy things, things that I think were good. So one of the biggest things I did, okay, which was where I have my likely stuff today, was what they called intermittent fasting. Again, if you want to really do this, please check with your physician and be sure it's something you can do. For me, it wasn't really difficult to do this because, like I always say, one, as a Christian, I believe in the mystery of fasting regularly. So, which I did regularly, even before then. But the way I was doing it was extremely different. So I had to overhaul my fasting life completely and practice daily intermittent fasting, both mainly for weight, but also for general health and living, and also to be the best version of myself in every area. And I'm going to show you the book from which I learned it. So I learned this from this book, The Diabetes Code, by Dr. Jason Fung. I will talk about his relationship to blood sugar or hemoglobin A1C in another video, but today I'll focus mainly on just the weight loss aspect of it. So there's a chapter in the book that talked about intermittent fast, chapters in the book talk about intermittent fasting and its help, both with weight loss and also with helping people who have fasting blood sugar issues or diabetes. So prior to trying these weight loss principles about a year ago, I was though fasting, but because I'm someone that work a lot into the night or early in the morning, whenever I eat at any time, especially in the midnight or anyhow. And the hours between my last meal for today and the first meal for tomorrow I wasn't strict about that. I wasn't very strict. So when I say intermittent fasting, what I learned from the book is to like have 15 to 16 hours of making sure you are not eating any food. For example, if you stop eating, let me tell you what I do. So typically I try my hard to have my last meal for the day around 7, 8 p.m. ish. And then the first meal the next day will be like 12 noon. That's like 16 hours. So 8 p.m. tonight to 12 noon tomorrow is 16 hours. But there are many variations of it. It could be shorter and it can also be longer. Some even do 30 something hours. But again, these are all things you have to check with your doctor before you can do it and be sure there are things you can do. I think this was one of the biggest things that was most helpful for me at that time. In addition to all the other things I've talked about, diets, the various things I've mentioned earlier, I think one of the biggest thing is intermittent fasting. So I was very strict with the interval between my last meal and the first meal. And like I said, for me, it's just easy. It's just easy for me because as a Christian, I've always wanted to also add fasting regularly to my life schedule. So this just made it easier for me to also be fast. So I started it slowly and I gradually increased and increased and increased. And currently I've decided to stay on 16 hours permanently, which is kind of like intermittent fasting every single day. Of course, very few occasions I miss it. Maybe if there's genuine reason to, I do. But in those cases, I do. Worst case scenario is 12 hours. But overall, almost all days I do 16. That is, I even do 18, 17 hours. So Take your last meal like 8. Make sure there's quality time. But if it's just 12 hours, you can do. I think it's fair. 8 to 8. That's the best you can. Like last meal 8, your first meal 8 in the morning. But the idea is you need to rest your body from food for good quality time. It helps with the blood sugar and also helps with weight loss if you have to. So those are the things I do that I can remember. Let me check again if there's anything I'm missing. Okay, sleep. Also, when I'm stressed, like I said, I stress eat. So one of the things I also did was deliberately make sure I get quality sleep on a regular basis. So I think that was a little bit slightly helpful too. It's always not easy, you know. At times you're just hard, but like I said, my target right now is between 6 and 7.5 hours, depending. I try very hard to protect it, and most months I try to record and find the average. I actually get about between 6 and 7.5 hours average most months. Okay, okay. I think that was everything in terms of the things I can remember right now that I did practically that helped me. And honestly, I dropped 20 pounds in less than 20 weeks, and I've kept it at that level for almost a year now. I've remained low for almost a year, and so happy about it. What I would say to conclude this is, you know, your health is very important, and it's just critical for us to pay attention to our health. Personally, I want to live long. Maybe because I love life, maybe because I lost my father and mother in very tragic situations, and they were very young. My mother was 32 when she died. My father was 40 when he died in a road traffic accident. My mother from, you know, childbirth complications, assumed. It's made me love life, and I really want to be the best version of myself. And I wear this bracelet saying I live for 3, living for myself and also honoring the legacies of my parents. So I really want to live long in good health. So I don't know about you. I think we need to jealously guide our health as much as possible. If you have gained too much weight and you want to lose it, it's possible. Just make sure you check with your doctor, whatever you decide to do. But some of those are the things I did practically, which my doctor was about. My primary care physician knew about it. In fact, she was one of the things. She was one that told me, like, Wale, it's time for us to stop, you know, because I kept going down and down and down and down. So she caught me at the point when I've lost 25 pounds. She was like, Wale, it's time to stop now. Don't go down anymore. I shout out to her. So, so I did it personally. I did it in conjunction with my doctor's knowledge throughout that season, and she was aware about everything I was doing, and she was also thrilled and surprised that, wow, you could do this within a short time. And but she was like, okay, you've got to stop, because I could keep going if I wanted to. So I want to encourage you that there is this is doable. So these videos are meant to be inspiring. So it's doable for you to lose that weight if you really want to. Let your doctor know, and then of some of these things, and see what you can tweak in your lifestyle that will help you get a hang on it. I'm going to talk about the blood sugar part of it and hemoglobin A1C part of the diabetic part of it in a future video. But for now, I believe you've picked 1 or 2 things that could help with your weight loss journey or weight maintenance. Maybe you don't need to lose weight, you just need to maintain a healthy weight. Or even just to be healthy generally. Like I always say, it's not even if you don't lose the weight, exercising, good diets are all good things, good sleep that helps us live a generally healthy life. Thank you for staying with me to watch this video to the end. Please like the video, share with friends that you might benefit from it, and put in the comments anything that you think might be inspiring to other people that read it. I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.